Meet Zhang Xinlin, age 18. Nationality: Chinese. Status: chronically sleep-deprived. On any given Tuesday, you could find her glued to her dimly lit room, gripping her stylus like a lifeline as she perfected every single digital stroke. By day, an ordinary high schooler. By night, an overworked freelance webtoon artist whose hands practically moved at warp speed. She poured her very soul into every panel. Suddenly, a soft tap, tap, tap echoed from the heavy wooden door. "Boss Xinlin, I brought your daily dose of bitter reality." Her sweet assistant popped her head into the creative dungeon. "Got it," Xinlin mumbled like a zombie, eyes never leaving the glowing screen. "Thanks a million. Just plop the meds on the desk. I am so close to the finish line." The poor assistant let out a dramatic, soul-deep sigh. "Boss, you have been curled up like a shrimp doing line art for 10 agonizing hours. Do you have a death wish or something?" The glowing phone screen menacingly flashed midnight, exactly 12 a.m. Xinlin finally spun her chair around, rocking the absolute palest complexion and panda eyes that could rival a raccoon. She weakly smiled. "Wow, is it midnight already? Go get some beauty sleep, sweet dreams." But the assistant just crossed her arms and leaned stubbornly against the doorframe. Shooting her boss the ultimate look of absolute pity, she fired back, "Honey, look in the mirror. You are the one knocking on heaven's door. I swear, if I look away for 5 seconds, you will literally drop dead on that tablet." Xinlin gave a tired but grateful grin. "You are my absolute lifesaver." But then, absolute horror! Crimson blood abruptly, violently erupted from her lips, painting her chin a terrifying red. She completely froze, totally shocked. Her assistant's eyes practically bulged out of her skull in pure panic. Xinlin instantly choked, hacking up her very lungs. Cough! Cough! Total dread flooded the artist's gaze as she desperately clamped her hands over her lips, but the warm metallic liquid just mercilessly poured through. The assistant completely lost her mind. Lunging forward like an action hero, the assistant barely caught Xinlin's violently crumbling body. "Hey, stay with me. Just swallow your meds. We are rushing to the ER right now. Can you even hear my voice?" Xinlin weakly smeared the crimson away, completely deaf to the desperate screams. Her exhausted vision entirely blurred. The world faded to pitch black, and she tragically crashed against the cold hardwood. Her assistant shrieked in absolute agonizing terror. "Boss Xinlin, wake up!" But there was zero response, just the silent tragedy of a fallen creator surrounded by her messy storyboard sketches. Fast forward to the majestic Kabul Empire, inside Duke Melwin's absurdly opulent estate. A ridiculously lavish mansion breathing with sweet morning dew and disgustingly cheerful bird songs. Wait, what in the world? A gorgeous young lady abruptly bolted upright in a mountain of silk pillows, furiously blinking. Pure comedic confusion painted her stunning features. Waking up from literally dying, an intense wave of absolute impending doom washed right over me. She clutched the extravagant sheets, drowning in a hilarious cocktail of shock and rising panic. Is this a prank? What is my name? What is this ridiculously fancy room? Why am I breathing? A smooth, buttery voice purred. "A wonderful morning to you, Lady Amy." The voice drifted from the massive mahogany doors. She violently whipped her head around, only to be utterly blinded by an impossibly gorgeous, sparkling blonde young man. "My lady, are you feeling terribly under the weather?" he softly murmured, elegantly gliding toward her bedside. As this walking piece of eye candy leaned in, she dramatically recoiled, eyes popping. Without a single second of hesitation, she let out an absolutely ear-piercing shriek. "Ah! Stranger danger! Do not take another step toward me, you glittering handsome demon!" Okay, hold the phone. My brain finally clicked. I have literally reincarnated as the absolutely wicked villainess in my own webtoon. This absurdly beautiful world is my exact fictional creation. Welcome to my masterpiece, Dancing Flowers. An epic, heart-fluttering romance about an innocent commoner girl from the mystical Flower Moon Kingdom, destined to fiercely collide with the absolutely breathtaking Prince of Kabul, the legendary love saga of Chun Tui and Her Royal Highness. But honestly, a juicy romance without a toxic rival? That would be a complete snooze fest, right? Wherever there is a disgustingly pure angel of a female lead, the universe strictly demands a gorgeously chaotic demon to ruin her day. Enter the universally despised megavillain, Lady Amy Melwin, the absolute worst nightmare for our innocent heroine, blessed with a face that could easily launch 1,000 ships, backed by the endlessly deep pockets and terrifying power of a duke. And plot twist of the century, this overworked comic artist is now currently trapped inside that exact wicked body. This psycho original character would literally burn the world down just to get her way, getting her perfectly manicured nails dipped in blood Tuesday for her. A masterclass in absolute cruelty, intoxicatingly lethal and fiercely gorgeous. But of course, her pathetic evil schemes eventually blow up in her face, completely ruining her, leading straight to a very tragic, self-inflicted game over. Bowing out of the story in the most pathetic way possible, that is Amy's absolute trash destiny. Intense panic fiercely grabbed her throat. Wait a minute, I am totally not that unhinged psycho. Somebody hit the pause button. How do I survive this mess? I am completely clueless here. All right, deep breaths. Let us just fake it till we absolutely make it. One baby step at a time. Amy awkwardly perched on the mattress, plastering on the most horribly fake smile ever. Excuse me, gorgeous, but who exactly are you? The blindingly handsome man instantly looked entirely shattered and hilariously terrified. I am your ladyship's eternally devoted and endlessly loyal butler, Dwayne! His inner monologue screamed. This is total madness. Why is she treating me like a stranger? Am I being fired from my dream job? Amy's sweat dropped, keeping up her hilariously pained grin. I am so terribly sorry, but my brain has literally zero file on you. Poor Dwayne, upon being hit with this devastating romantic rejection, instantly turned into a crumbling stone statue of pure comedic despair, dramatically face-planting right onto the incredibly expensive rug. Amy, totally flabbergasted by this Oscar-worthy performance, frantically flailed her arms and legs around in pure chaos. Mr. Butler, she hollered, do not just drop dead on me like a dramatic male lead. Her panicked screaming absolutely rattled the mansion walls, brutally jump-scaring a tiny innocent bird chilling on the balcony branch, forcing it to flap away for its precious life. Tweet, tweet, tweet! If that little guy could speak, it would absolutely scream, "You nearly gave me a heart attack, you crazy lady!" Meanwhile, Dwayne was literally weeping a river of comical tears over his amnesiac master, yet his terrifyingly flawless butler instincts kicked in. My lady, please let me fix your absolute bedhead first! Amy, frantically waving her hands, awkwardly patted him. Seriously, turn off the waterworks, handsome. Sniffle, sniffle. Dwayne instantly wiped his sparkling tears and snapped back to professional perfection. Ah, yes. The notoriously obsessed, insanely hyper-competent, and ridiculously loyal butler of the original webtoon, being pampered by a character she personally designed, felt incredibly surreal. It was like stepping straight into her own storyboard. She analyzed the situation, while Diane gently stroked her silky hair. Fooling Diane was easy, but the ultimate boss battle awaited. Inside the massive, book-filled study on the Melvin Duchy's first floor, Diane carefully broke the news. Everyone, please stay completely calm about what I am going to say. Lady Amy, he paused. She seems to have lost her memories entirely. Tiny Amy stood there, clutching her trembling hands tightly together. Inwardly, she was screaming in sheer panic. They looked perfectly composed on the surface, but internally, their minds were an absolute hurricane. I absolutely cannot expose them! Ah, young Master Alan, Diane called out, turning toward the boy writing at the grand desk. He shared Amy's striking facial features. The moment the shocking news dropped, his gorgeous face went blank, like his brain completely crashed. Huh? Without warning, Alan shot straight up. His sudden leap made Amy jump in terror. The handsome boy dashed over, wrapping her in a crushing embrace. Completely stunned, she froze. Alan held her tight, absolute relief washing over his features. Thank goodness you finally came back! Amy's cheeks burned crimson instantly. Her eyes spun with dizzying panic. Close? 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 Caught entirely off guard, Alan released her, gripping her trembling shoulders tightly. Close? Amy, her face still fiercely blushing, helplessly babbled. Close? Close? Amy abruptly shrieked. Way too close! Are you people naturally this incredibly clingy? A little bird, resting on the window branch, already used to her dramatic screams, mentally put on its tiny earplugs. This time, ignoring her deafening shout entirely, it simply shot her a heavily judgmental side-eye. Chirp, 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 cheep, cheep. Its sassy gaze clearly judged. Girl, are you mentally stable? Alan rubbed his handsome cheek and laughed awkwardly. I am so sorry, Amy. You were unconscious for several agonizing days. Seeing you awake, I guess my emotions just took total control. Amy, absolutely mortified, zipped her lips, deeply regretting her hilarious overreaction. Meanwhile, Diane hesitantly raised his hand in the background. Young master, how on earth will we explain her condition to the Lord? Amy frantically racked her brain. Who the heck is the Lord? Alan, however, maintained his perfectly cool, princely aura. He gazed at Amy with sickeningly sweet tenderness. Do not worry about him at all. Your safety is my only priority. Alan fondly squished her soft cheek. Amy froze like a statue, blinking her massive, bewildered eyes. The two locked their gazes silently, then their faces both erupted in brilliant red blushes. Snapping out of her romantic trance, Amy instantly threw up her defenses. The blood completely drained from her face. Oh no, I am totally doomed! I almost fell for that criminally beautiful face! Amy violently shoved Alan away and scrambled backward. Utterly shattered by the sudden rejection, poor Alan stood there, invisible question marks popping around his head. Amy! She immediately dived behind Diane like a frightened squirrel. What is even happening right now? Alan desperately reached out for her. Amy! Gripping Diane's uniform for dear life, Amy faked her composure while her soul practically left her body. Fake amnesia aside, I have absolutely zero experience handling an overwhelmingly cute guy acting this aggressively affectionate with me. Somebody, please save me! His devastatingly heartbroken puppy dog eyes only multiplied her guilt. What if he sees through my disguise? Seriously, who is this guy? Why is my memory completely blanking on this character? Think! Brain! Think! Suddenly, a brilliant flash of lore downloaded into her mind. That is right! This is Alan Melvin, her very own twin brother. A tragic background character who only existed in past flashbacks. In my original draft, this poor soul was fatally poisoned at his 12th birthday banquet. He had literally zero actual screen time. Another highly inappropriate thought intruded her chaotic mind. He is so tragically gorgeous, I could weep. Instant creator's guilt stabbed her conscience. I am a heartless monster! Why did I write such a cruel destiny? I want to drop dead! Suddenly, Alan reached out, his voice utterly heartbroken. Have you truly forgotten about me, Amy? I am your loving brother, he silently pleaded. Please remember me. His devastating words shattered Amy's weak heart, multiplying her agonizing guilt. Amy weakly stammered. My brother? Wait a second. Catching her entirely incoherent mumbling, Diane turned around in concern. Amy snapped her mouth shut, deeply bowing her red face. The panicking coward had entirely lost her vocabulary. Pure panic consumed her entirely. Somebody help! I have zero clue how to handle this! Can I just play dead? Suddenly, a brilliant survival tactic hit her. Bingo! She stealthily backed away, spun on her heels, and bolted. I suddenly remembered an extremely urgent task. I am taking my leave! She dashed off like lightning. Escaping is the ultimate survival technique. Run! 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 She left the stunned Diane and Alan staring blankly. Honestly, a strategic retreat is absolutely never cowardice. Escaping might be completely shameful, but it works flawlessly. Diane watched her zoom away. Incredible speed. Truly our magnificent lady. Alan suddenly called out, making Diane turn back. Alan gripped a mysterious letter tightly, his playful expression turning dead serious. The Duke is finally returning. Down on the grand first floor of the Melvin Ducal estate, the unbelievably luxurious hallway echoed loudly with Amy's frantic, tiny footsteps. She desperately fled, her face a burning tomato. Squeezing her eyes shut, Amy sprinted blindly. This entire situation is insane! How did she end up shoved into this completely cliché historical romance universe? She absolutely never penned such ridiculously mindless trash. Right when that hilarious thought hit her, she crashed face first into a solid chest. She blinked frantically. "My deepest apologies. I totally slipped." A dangerously velvety voice interrupted. "How could I blame my precious princess?" Glancing upwards, she locked eyes with an absolutely gorgeous deity. His freezing, majestic beauty immediately short-circuited her incredibly bewildered, totally dumbfounded little brain. Dropping to one knee, he gracefully pulled her into a warm hug. "Are you injured?" She panicked completely. "Who is this insanely handsome stranger gazing so lovingly? You look totally drained." The devastatingly gorgeous man smiled with pure affection. Seriously, why is his illustration quality totally miles above everyone else? Her mind raced comically. He is unbelievably flawless. Did I just trigger an ultra-premium login reward? Heavens above, his face is a literal masterpiece. I desperately wish my art skills were this godlike. Gripping his sturdy sleeve, she blurted out, "Excuse me, handsome sir, who exactly are you?" Those innocent words violently shattered his heart, instantly darkening his expression as he gently patted her trembling head. With every pat, a suffocating aura of pure murder aggressively expanded. He chuckled, sporting a terrifyingly handsome smirk. The surrounding air warped into an abyssal darkness. As the lethal pressure spiked, a loyal servant suddenly materialized. "Awaiting your absolute command, master," the servant respectfully bowed. Spotting yet another random newcomer, she internally panicked. "Another person? Seriously, where are these stealthy ninjas spawning from?" The icy deity commanded. "Summon Alan and Diane for an immediate interrogation." "As you wish." She vanished instantly. Meanwhile, the oblivious duo relaxed inside their quarters, utterly blind to the impending hilarious doom. A synchronized, dramatic sneeze suddenly racked both their frames. Not illness, just their terrifying boss cursing them. "The pathetic cast is assembled," he hissed with freezing authority. "Perfect." Diane avoided his terrifying gaze, sweating nervous bullets down her cheeks. Alan absolutely refused to make eye contact, his pale face dripping nervously. The terrified duo clearly anticipated a completely brutal, legendary scolding. Behold this incredibly awkward scenario. The furious tyrant lounged, trapping her upon his lap. His stoic face radiated explosive fury. She sat totally petrified, terrified to even breathe. He growled dangerously. "You better explain this disaster." His glowing crimson eyes snapped open, overflowing with pure murderous menace. "Why has my precious daughter forgotten me? What exactly occurred during my absence?" She shivered like a terrified bunny facing a wolf, her imaginary ears wilting. "Sweet heavens! What is happening? This suffocating aura of pure murder is absolutely horrifying." "Hold on a second." A massive realization struck her brain. Did this incredibly hot tyrant just call me his beloved daughter? So this masterpiece of a man is actually Fournier Melwin. Her jaw dropped. "My dad is ridiculously, illegally young and hot." Closing his tired eyes, Alan released an utterly defeated sigh. Opening them, he nervously began reporting to Fournier. Absorbing those terrible words, Fournier scowled dangerously, shooting a freezing glare at Alan's trembling, freshly unfolded document. Several dramatic days prior, our reckless princess secretly sneaked into the second royal palace. The terrified subordinates instantly locked their intense, burning gazes onto her, forcing her to comically flinch backwards. She mentally shrieked in absolute panic. "Stop staring at me! I literally just transmigrated here today!" "Young miss," a velvet voice chimed, extending hands. "Forgive my rudeness." The handsome butler gracefully scooped her upwards, smiling flawlessly at the tense room. "You terrifying gentlemen, keep chatting. I shall escort our precious princess." She clung onto his shoulders, feeling hilariously awkward. "Why am I constantly getting carried everywhere?" Meanwhile, her incredibly handsome dad glared jealously. Her overprotective father desperately reached out, attempting to block their exit. "Curse it! Hand over my precious daughter!" he barked furiously. The elegant butler smiled smoothly. "Master, kindly watch your language. You absolutely wouldn't want our innocent princess hearing these terribly violent political secrets, would you?" Honestly, she felt incredibly disappointed. But I desperately want the spicy gossip. Gathering crucial intel guarantees my survival. While the charming butler safely whisked her away, Alan nervously smoothed out his intelligence report, loudly detailing the disastrous events. We discovered the little princess completely collapsed and totally unresponsive. Her terrifying father glared dangerously. Such brilliant schemes at merely 10 years old. Diane smirked proudly. The furious tyrant stated coldly, "Those despicable royals always attack without any warning. Their arrogant audacity guarantees massive migraines." His handsome features turned utterly freezing. Absolute suffocating silence violently crashed over the room. The terrifying Duke rhythmically tapped his elegant fingers against his luxurious throne. Glaring at Alan, he declared coldly, "Tomorrow, my daughter and I invade the palace." It sounds incredibly annoying, but keeping her strictly guarded is absolutely mandatory. Alan immediately bowed, pressing a fiercely loyal hand tightly over his heart. "Understood, Master. We will prepare flawlessly." The devastatingly handsome Duke thoughtfully stroked his chin, his eyes narrowing. She miraculously survived past 4 full hours. So exactly which unfortunate soul tragically perished in her stead? He remained totally oblivious that our hilarious protagonist currently possessed his daughter's vessel. The original soul had mysteriously vanished into absolute nothingness. Within Destiny's massive gears, 3 brilliant stars revolved. The legendary Spring of Life and Death, written by Bing Xian. Meanwhile, across dimensions, the real Amy's soul floated all alone, right above the shimmering water. She pressed her hands together tightly. Heck yes, I did it! If this crazy plan actually works, tracking down Zhang Xinlin will be a total breeze. Amy beamed with pride, finally securing her golden ticket to survival. Meanwhile, far across the map, over in the gorgeous Flower Moon Kingdom, inside their top-secret surveillance base, Chen Shiyu was cheerfully chopping off her own hair with a pair of scissors. Absolutely flawless, so freaking cool. Honestly, my styling skills are top tier. Right next to her, a little boy giggled as he watched her impromptu salon session. "Hey Mingyu, drop the hair I just chopped off." Chen Shiyu totally freaked out, spotting the kid, grabbing her freshly cut locks, and tossing them onto the desk. Out of nowhere, a massive hand hoisted Mingyu up by his collar. Uncle Wuji had entered the chat, dangling the boy like a naughty kitten. His face was completely freezing. "Listen up, Xiaoyu. Are your bags packed yet? The ship heading to Cable is waiting. And why on earth does your hair look so modern?" Chen Shiyu just flashed a cheeky grin. "Come on, it looks totally amazing. Plus, with a handsome face like mine, literally any style is a masterpiece." Little Mingyu practically glued himself to Uncle Wuji's massive shoulder. Annoyed, Wuji grabbed her messy chops and started repairing the damage. "Hand over those scissors. Let a pro handle this. And wipe off that goofy smile. This trip is definitely not a holiday. Did you magically forget our real mission?" Chen Shiyu shot him a sideways glance and smirked. "Duh, we are hunting down the demon who dared to ditch our nation." Cut to Cable's bustling commercial district too. Our girl Amy Melwin skipped down the avenue, mentally squealing, "I seriously cannot believe this. The exact world I designed is literally breathing right in front of me. It feels like an epic overseas vacation. Wait, but why is this guy tagging along?" Amy internally groaned, staring at the insanely handsome butler who was clutching a bread bag and giving her the softest puppy eyes. Let us rewind the clock to right before they left. Amy had marched up to her big brother, casually demanding a little stroll outside. Alan looked like he had just seen a ghost and stammered out, "You actually want to go for a walk?" "Oh man, I would absolutely love to escort you, but I am drowning in a mountain of paperwork. Both Kenneth and the Duke are already out of the house." Alan stared tragically at his massive stack of documents, whining to his adorable sister. "I am so completely torn." Right on cue, Dion the dashing butler smoothly chimed in from the doorway. "Did everyone forget about me? I would be absolutely thrilled to give the young Miss Play Spot the most magical strolling experience of her life. Furthermore, young master, Our precious Miss Amy has never actually asked us for a favor before, has she? Hearing this dramatic exchange, Amy sweated bullets. Are these two guys completely out of their minds? But Alan, totally swept away by Dion's logic, felt a spicy wave of jealousy and aggressively pointed a finger at him. If you take her, you better treat her like royalty, got it? If she frowns even once, I will personally end you! Alan fumed silently in his chair. I wanted to show off my cute sister. Why does this butler get all the luck? Dion just flashed a bright thumbs up, practically sparkling with utter confidence. Simply leave it to me. I shall guide Miss Amy to the peak of walking perfection. Back to the present. Dion leaned in with a totally heart-fluttering smile. My lady, would you care for a bite of this? He presented a flawless donut. She grabbed it awkwardly. Thanks. Chewing her treat, Amy suffered a minor panic. Mr. Dion is undeniably gorgeous and sweet, but this overwhelming fanboy energy is way too much. Lost in her hilariously awkward thoughts, Dion suddenly interrupted. Miss, please stay right in this exact spot. That bakery just dropped an exclusive new cake. I will secure a slice for you. It is famously delicious. Amy just deadpanned at his retreating back, completely aware he just wanted an excuse to eat cake himself. She tried to stop his sugar rush, but Dion was already zooming away. I will be back in a flash, miss. Do not move a single muscle. Please do not wander off. Seriously, so dramatic. Amy rolled her eyes, gazing at the bustling street. Honestly, though, this fantasy world is totally stunning. The vibe is just incredibly peaceful. Besides a few quirky cultural fashion choices, it is basically a carbon copy of the modern era. Suddenly, a high-pitched screech shattered the peace. What in the world is that racket? Despite nearly jumping out of her skin, she hilariously kept chewing her donut. Spinning toward the ridiculous noise, Amy spotted a flashy noblewoman having a total meltdown at a beggar. You filthy, insolent commoner! The obnoxious bunny beggar! Beth shrieked at the top of her lungs. The poor street dweller trembled and begged, I am so incredibly sorry, my lady. Bunny Beth literally stomped her foot in rage. You ruined my outrageously expensive outfit! Oddly, the beggar purposely gripped her silk skirt tighter with his grimy fingers and wailed. I am begging for your mercy. Please forgive this lowly one. Bunny Beth shrieked in absolute panic. You disgusting peasant! Unhand me this instant! But the sneaky beggar played completely deaf. He clung to her frilly dress like a koala, literally wiping his gross snot and fake tears all over her silk. Bunny Beth practically blew a gasket, screaming, Get your filthy paws off my designer gown! Munching her donut, Amy raised an eyebrow. Okay, this dude is acting super sus. He is acting like she is bullying him to death, but he is the one refusing to let go of her dress. Wait, is this a classic fantasy street scam? Before she could finish her thought, the snotty beggar suddenly lunged and grabbed Amy's skirt. Oh, most kind and beautiful miss, please save me. Amy, who was literally 1 second away from moonwalking out of there, froze as the dirty man bawled at her feet. She nervously scanned the massive crowd of onlookers. Did this guy seriously pick the wrong target? The street is packed with rich people. Out of everyone here, why is he dragging me into this drama? My outfit is the definition of basic. I do not scream rich noblewoman at all. Do not tell me I am his next victim. Oh, please no! Bunny Beth glared at her spectacularly ruined dress and threw a massive aristocratic tantrum. My absolute worst luck ever. And who on earth is that plain girl standing with this trash? Bunny Beth sneered, eyeing the beggar and Amy. Suddenly, the snobby noblewoman gasped, realizing exactly who she was looking at. Well, is that not the Duke's infamous idiot daughter? Catching the sharp insult, Amy looked up to find the arrogant girl from earlier standing directly before her. Miss Amy Melwin! She sneered. Those painfully basic rags truly suit you! Amy blinked in deadpan silence. What an obnoxiously rude little brat, she thought. Not missing a single beat, Amy immediately fired right back. Hey, anyone's outfit easily beats your giant ruffled cabbage of a dress. A cabbage? The girl's jaw dropped in pure disbelief. Her cheeks flushed tomato red as she screamed out loudly. You are the cabbage! You utterly tasteless, awkward fool! Totally unbothered by the dramatic screeching, Amy calmly tilted her head. Geez, why so triggered? Meanwhile, noticing his paid task was finally complete, the hired beggar silently vanished into the background shadows. The cabbage girl suddenly caught herself, a nasty smirk returning. Oh wait, I almost forgot! You are supposed to be nothing but a brainless, blank-faced puppet. Since when do you have the guts to snap back? Why do you not just keep your mouth shut like a mourning dog? She jabbed an accusing finger right at Amy's nose. Amy narrowed her eyes. Hold up, she thought. This chick is the absolute textbook definition of a low-tier villainess extra. Amused by the cliché, Amy dropped a devastating question. With all that loud yapping, who exactly are you again? The girl absolutely shook with sheer fury at the ignorance. Are you kidding me? She practically shrieked. How dare you not recognize my face? I am the sparkling rising star of high society, Bunny Beth, eldest daughter of Viscount Beth. I have graced you with my name and I will not repeat it. Amy stared blankly. Viscount Beth? Wait, I definitely remember that name from Professor Zhang's boring history lectures. According to the setting of this ridiculous novel world, the absolute hierarchy of noble titles flows downward, from Duke to Marquess to Earl, dropping down to Viscount and stopping at Baron. Which means my Melwin dukedom completely and utterly crushes a mere Viscount family in social standing. Amy stared down at the ridiculously smug bunny. She let out a heavy, exasperated breath, completely baffled. What exactly is this little cabbage so ridiculously proud of? She really is just a loud, spoiled brat. Amy let out a soft sigh, her mind racing. All right, time to switch gears. She is just a naive kid playing dress-up. A tiny dose of pure terror should fix this attitude. Amy's aura instantly dropped below freezing. Listen closely, little girl, she whispered. Let me show you how a real villainess operates. Still entirely clueless, Bunny planted one hand firmly on her hip. She jabbed her finger aggressively close to Amy's chest, her face twisted in a comically wicked sneer. I told you to keep your mouth shut like a mourning dog, she snapped. But Amy did not flinch. She just stared back with utterly dead, chilling eyes. Inside, Amy was just completely exhausted. Whatever. This kid is begging for a harsh reality check. A little overwhelming pressure should do the magic trick perfectly. Class is in session, kiddo. With effortless grace, Amy swatted the pointing finger away. The temperature between them seemed to instantly plunge to absolute sub-zero. Time to witness the dark arts of high society. Meanwhile, far away within the opulent walls of the Melwin estate, deep inside the grand first-floor study, Alan sat hopelessly buried behind a massive fortress of paperwork. His elegant quill scratched across parchment, his forehead resting heavily against his free hand. I wonder if my precious Amy is staying out of trouble, he mused. He glanced toward the empty window, letting his heavy eyelids flutter shut. Painful memories of the old Amy flooded his mind. Before her memory loss, she had been a perfectly hollow, wooden doll, a completely tragic, empty shell. Her dark, lifeless eyes blindly following every single cruel demand of the world. A beautifully tragic marionette, a perfectly obedient, broken machine. His lips curled up softly as he pictured the new Amy. She is wonderfully chaotic and vibrant now, but this endless, agonizing anxiety has basically become my daily routine. I just cannot stop my overprotective heart. Groaning, Alan slumped back into his leather chair and aggressively covered his face with a thick novel. Slowly lowering the spine of the book, his dark eyes peeked out, swirling with irrational dread. Horrifying visions flashed through his overactive mind. He pictured Amy shivering in torn, ruined dresses, her fragile body bruised and battered, with a cruel, suffocating rope looped around her neck. He saw her weeping intensely, begging for his help through shattered tears. The deeper his imagination spiraled, the darker his overprotective fury burned. He dropped his gaze, a heavily dramatic sigh escaping his lips. Protecting her is a full-time heart-attacking job, he grumbled. I will absolutely destroy anyone who touches her when I return. Back in the sunlit streets, a stunningly gorgeous songbird fluttered down. Its pale lilac feathers shimmered with elegant sweeping wings, looking absolutely magical as it perched perfectly on a wooden street sign. Its bright little eyes curiously watched the ridiculous showdown unfolding between Amy and the cabbage girl. Bunny defensively crossed both arms tightly over her chest. She let out a forced, dramatic huff. Ha! Do not even try to scare me with that creepy deadpan stare of yours. Amy merely propped her chin upon her palm, her gaze radiating absolute zero temperatures. Oh, Miss Beth? Have you completely forgotten how the real world actually works? The arrogant girl completely froze, blinking in pure, unadulterated confusion. Huh? Slowly, Amy leaned directly into her personal space, her voice dripping with venom. When it comes to noble rank, I stand leagues above you. Amy let her hand drop heavily onto Bunny's delicate shoulder, making the girl jump out of her skin. Without breaking eye contact, she whispered, When it comes to sheer, overwhelming wealth, I completely crush you. Amy squeezed down on that shoulder with surprising, terrifying strength. Bunny let out a sharp, pathetic squeak of pain. All the arrogant color violently drained right out of the little noble's cheeks. Dark, ominous shadows seemed to literally swallow Amy's glowing eyes. Her grip tightened like an iron vice. I am the apex predator here, and you are just a weed. Forcing the girl to practically bow down, Amy leaned in dangerously close, unleashing her ultimate boss aura. Are you genuinely ready to suffer the catastrophic consequences of insulting a ruling duke's daughter? Bunny's face violently exploded into a brilliant, panicked shade of crimson. Back off! She hysterically screeched at the top of her lungs, desperately shoving Amy's arm away. The girl dropped her head, her voice trembling as she embarrassingly stuttered out, I am so infinitely sorry! Even with her arm violently shoved, Amy's icy poker face did not crack a single inch. Internally, she was totally sweating bullets. Good Lord! This cabbage has some serious muscle. Flustered to the point of tears, Bunny wailed, I promise I will never pick on you again. Spinning on her heels, she sprinted away, screaming back, It is Bunny! Do not you dare forget my name! Amy just stood frozen in the middle of the street, absolutely flabbergasted. The intimidating villainess act completely shattered, replaced by sheer, comical confusion. A gigantic, invisible question mark basically floated right above her head. Hold on a second, she thought wildly. Her cheeks were literally glowing like a radioactive tomato. She sprinted off so frantically, I look like the total punchline here. Amy dramatically reached a hand out toward the empty street, but the tsundere cabbage was already gone. Oh, Alan. Karis watched from the rooftop, totally useless and sighing. He thought that poor kid meant absolutely zero harm. Where is that useless Dane? Why abandon our lady? Boiling with sudden jealousy, Karis spotted something super sketchy. A shady figure dressed like a filthy beggar bowed deeply, whispering absolute nonsense to a mysterious second person. Master, your sneaky mission is complete. I made those two cute ladies fight, but honestly, it miserably failed. Relax, you did a fabulous job, purred the so-called master. Shockingly, it was Dane. He casually held fresh bread and smoothly whispered, Our sweet little Amy is acting delightfully rebellious lately. The filthy beggar literally violently shook. Oops, her cute watchdog found us. But what can that loser do? You absolutely cannot illegally murder me, right? Up on the roof, Karis glared down. Hearing this arrogant garbage, his blood boiled with pure, romantic fury. As long as my darling Amy Melwin breathes, you will never, ever escape my grasp until she tragically perishes, Dane declared. As long as my precious Amy exists, Dane smirked darkly, you are forever trapped in my charming web. He pictured cute Amy as his favorite little puppet, totally dominated by his love. The terrified beggar immediately sprinted away. I am totally out of here. Dane gracefully waved his charming hand. Yep, you should desperately run along now. Dane peeked sideways. As furious, Karis plunged from the sky with his shiny sword. Dane kept flashing that gorgeous smile. Guess you are staying, right? Karis lunged fiercely, trying to poke Dane right in the spine. Suddenly, a starry magical shield flashed behind Dane, effortlessly blocking the blade. Dane stayed perfectly chill, never looking back. Oh, a sweet Melwin lapdog. He shot Karis a deadly, gorgeous glare. Or maybe just a fake knight? Honestly, that suits your cute face better. Karis furiously attacked his rival. The fancy magical shield began shattering, echoing with a super dramatic crunching noise. You babble too much, you blonde royal lunatic! Karis heroically smashed the barrier, thrusting his shiny sword, wildly missing Dane but tragically slicing the tip off his yummy pastry. Despite the bakery tragedy, Dane stayed perfectly cool. Rocking a super infuriating smirk, Karis glared intensely at his rival, his extremely long blade pointed directly forward. Just as I thought, you are basic. I recommend quitting now. Drop these incredibly lame, incredibly pathetic magic tricks. The shiny metal scratched his flawless cheek, drawing a ridiculously sexy drop of crimson blood. Dane gracefully nudged the blade. Thanks for the lovely praise. We will passionately debate romance later, fake hero. My precious lady eagerly awaits my cute return. Meanwhile, cute Amy cupped her squishy cheeks, totally daydreaming. Why is that gorgeous psycho taking forever? Staring at the romantic city view, she pouted impatiently. This is dragging. Where is Dane? Suddenly, his velvety smooth voice absolutely purred. So totally sorry for the tragic delay, my beautiful queen. She spun around, angrily puffing her adorable cheeks. Finally! Why did you literally take a century? Glancing up, she realized his flawless aura felt super off. Curious, romantic bells chimed. Where are my sweet snacks? Weren't you buying treats? She whispered gently. Dane, lean down a bit, please. Being a good boy, he leaned incredibly close. Without any warning, her tiny hands daringly squished his incredibly handsome face. Dane looked completely confused. My lovely Amy? He murmured, his eyes turning beautifully soft. What exactly happened? Who ruined your gorgeous face? She tenderly swept his bangs away, exposing a tiny bloody scratch. Hiding nearby, poor Karis completely choked on jealousy, fuming with dramatic rage at their incredibly romantic closeness. Dane smoothly lied with a dazzling smile. A stray puppy? Tried snatching my snacks. He boldly grabbed her hand, planting a kiss. My precious Amy, are you actually fretting over me? You are illegally adorable. Amy shivered wildly from that spicy kiss. Dane chuckled smoothly. Also, ignoring my minor scratch, he slid his warm fingers toward her blushing cheeks. You really need to check your gorgeous face. He affectionately flicked a crumb away. Dane sneakily shot a mocking smirk toward the alley. Hiding nearby, Karis was literally having a major romantic meltdown. A wildly dark, jealous gloom exploded from the heroic knight. You absolute scumbag unhand, my beautiful princess! Dane almost laughed out loud. This pathetic rival is ridiculously entertaining. He smiled gorgeously at sweet Amy. My lady, dusk is falling. Let us escape. You have fabulous plans tomorrow. Amy squeaked softly in adorable confusion. What? Frantic footsteps echoed down the street. Bunny Beth was wildly sprinting away, finally reaching a completely deserted alley. She slumped against the bricks, panting heavily. This is totally humiliating, she thought. I am clearly supposed to be her fierce rival, Bunny Beth whined, recalling Amy's cute face. Blushing wildly, she thought, but why is she so unbelievably gorgeous? Bunny Beth spiraled into a romantic panic, muttering to herself, at this rate, how can I ever finish Father's strict mission? She totally missed the terrifying, glowing eyes creeping right behind her. It was that absolutely stunning magical bird from earlier. Now it was a totally massive bird, staring intently. It silently stalked closer to poor Bunny Beth. Catching a creepy rustle, adorable Bunny Beth frantically spun around searching. What is that? Her gorgeous eyes popped with absolute horror. Her complexion instantly drained. What is that? Suddenly, Bunny Beth's hilariously dramatic screech echoed. Meanwhile, a dashing gentleman twirled his fancy quill. Hearing the frantic maid, he smirked coldly. Are you telling me, my lovely daughter? The poor maids shook like nervous chihuahuas. This intimidatingly handsome man was Viscount Richard Beth, Bunny's ridiculously ambitious Papa Bear. He casually snorted with laughter. She vanished after bumping into the fabulous Melwin princess? Richard honestly felt zero panic for her. Instead, he beamed happily. Bunny, my darling daughter, you are such a clever girl, making Daddy proud. You totally scored a chance to meet Lady Amy, Richard muttered with wicked glee. Let us see. When do I playfully extort them? Later that romantic night at Amy's lavish mansion, a gorgeous, sparkling moon highlighted her incredibly stunning estate. Beautiful Amy leaned over her balcony, sighing at the stars. She mumbled sadly, I wonder what the modern world is doing. And who's managing my webtoon deadlines now? Amy peeked down rather miserably. Perched 3 dizzying stories up in the night air, our dramatic heroine pondered deeply. If I yeet myself down, will I magically teleport back? Should I try flying just once? Considering this wild idea, Amy tipped her toes. Her beautifully shining eyes suddenly faded. Amy sadly realized she absolutely did not belong in this romance. Right as she hilariously dangled halfway over the edge, handsome Alan sprinted desperately to snatch her hand. He screamed loudly, Amy! The gorgeous male lead was absolutely freaking out.